well, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are going to be diving into this Detroit Lions offensive film and just a little bit of a deeper dive. I wasn't actually planning to do this video. I was initially just going to take a look at the Texans and just kind of move on from this Panthers game. But as I went back to watch it, because I always watch it, I just don't always, do a video on it. When I went back to watch it, this offense, because I had to, right? He scored 0 points. I got to take a look at what the heck went wrong. There were just so many things that I wanted to point out that I saw in this, and then maybe you guys will see when you watch it back that I missed on. Just some things that I want to point about how this offense performed and where I really think it went completely wrong. Want to run the football, even though we're not good at it. That's the kind of offense that we have. And yes, there's a lot of things that went wrong in this game. We probably won't touch on them all. I'm going to focus on the things on the field here because we did do the best video yesterday where we talked about, the play calling and how much whack that was. So I'm going to try to just focus on the game, not just the play calling, because the play calling was awful, right? It was not very good. But now when it comes to, okay, on the field, doing your job, right? Completing what you're supposed to do, this is where things went wrong. So we've seen a couple of games against the Colts and against the Vikings where a couple of turnovers really hurt us. Matthew Stafford made some mistakes in those games, and it was like, well, dang. I mean, this game could have been different if we don't have those. Like, sure, we didn't play great aside from that, but like the game could have been different if we don't have those turnovers. Then we come back versus Washington, he plays well. This game, we had that kind of same problem, but instead of it being with Stafford, this was with the offensive line, some of the play calling, which again, we already did a video on, so I'll try to focus on that. Dropping passes, missing field, miscues. It was all about miscues in this game, and I'm going to point out those in this video. Just some of the things that I think we could potentially even improve upon, but really went wrong. Okay, why did we not score a point? I mean, how do you not score a point, right? How does that even happen? Well, I'm going to show you guys in today's video, and by the way, some people were saying, hey, Matthew Stafford should just kind of lose it on this offensive line. They were bad. They were bad. So I wouldn't even blame them. All right, let's get into this thing. And the first play I'm going to show you is just kind of how this game got off to. I mean, this is how this game started. And when you start like this, I mean, it kind of just set up the rest of the game. Like, of course, you want to be able to bounce back, but we didn't. And that was dropping passes. Okay, we came without Swift, and you came in without Golladay. So 2 of your top weapons, right? And Amendola. So you're missing 3 weapons, actually, there. And we came out there, we're trying to take some dump downs. They're playing a little bit back in the cornerback group a little bit, right? Not this play in particular, but they're playing a little bit, giving a little bit of cushion in the cornerback room. So the Lions are trying to take, the underneath passes here. And they also had to do it because they were getting a lot of pressure as the game goes on. Yes, as an offense, when you're settling for these dump downs constantly, you have to make sure you're catching them because it's not a big gain anyway. So you got to make sure you're bringing them down. You're coming down with them. When teams settle for dump offs, you should have a high completion percentage. The problem was in this game, we didn't because we didn't catch the passes. I mean, we got off to a very slow start, and you're going to see that on the first play here. Also, one of the biggest takeaways I have from this game is Kerryon Johnson is my #1 running back if Swift isn't healthy. When Swift's healthy, he's #1, but Kerryon's my #1 over Peterson. All right, that's how I see it. And the reason why. Peterson has better vision. The problem is he just doesn't have the same ability to make what he wants to happen on the field anymore. He's just not that same guy. When it comes to a guy like Kerryon, yeah, his vision's a little questionable, but it's okay enough. It's good enough where he has more athleticism. He's a better pass blocker, and he catches the ball in the backfield better, whereas he's more of that threat everywhere on the field, where he's not really kind of telling what's going to happen. This is another example. We've seen this already this season of Adrian Peterson just dropping a wide. I mean, this has to be a catch. Also, I want to pause it here because if you guys can see the route concept we're going with, we run this one a lot, Okay, you're actually going to see it again this game. We've seen it in past games. I just want to point that out. We run a lot of the same concepts here. But they're going to dump it off to Adrian Peterson, and he almost fumbles. I mean, he has the ball so long, he almost fumbles. Watch this. He turns around with the football and drops it. How does that even... I don't know how that happens. I really don't. But he drops it, and he's never been a great pass catcher. But without Swift, we've asked him to do it, and he hasn't been great at it. Kerryon is my #1. Kerryon is my #1 running back if Swift is not healthy Thursday. That's just the bottom line for me. Okay, now we're going to get back at it with the next play. This is just kind of how the game started, and they're so worried about this pass rush that was, in the inside here that Frank Ragnow just snapped it on the ground. These are little mistakes that the Lions made in this game that allowed it, to make them not score. Now the defense didn't allow it to get out of hand, which was great. They got a pick here, and it was still 7-0. They didn't allow this game to get out of hand with these, mistakes. But our offense, this was like every single drive. Every single drive we had something like this happen. It seemed like every single drive. This one, you're going to get Adrian Peterson getting the football here. And I kind of see what he's saying, right? You see, boom. Okay, Jeremy Chin. So he's like, I'm going to cut inside. He runs into the lineman. Like, that could be like a 7-8 yard gain instead of it's a 3 yard gain. Not all on Peterson there, but those are just like little things that happen in this game that, I mean, it honestly really hurt us. Here you're going to see a play action. They're only bringing a 3-man rush, so you're going to get time in the pocket here. That means they're dropping 8 guys into coverage. All right, so it's really tough to find options here. The problem with the Lions later in this game is that they were getting so much pressure with their front four that the Lions would have to max protect. And when they max protect, they only had like 3 guys going out for passes. And you would have 7 defenders. So no one was open. That was a big problem with the Lions. Here you're going to see they bring 3, but the Lions do have 5 options for Matthew Stafford. He takes the shot in the zone to Marvin Jones. He completes it. He has a clean pocket. Boom, you move the chains. There you go. That was great. But it didn't last. Now, this play, watching in real life time, I was like, oh my gosh, why are we doing this? But going back, I at least give Derail Bevel credit for using this to set it up later. He runs the exact same thing with the play action to Hockenson, and Hockenson picks up 35 yards. But I think this play demonstrates how important a running back is. I know the thought is, oh, you don't need a running back. You just pick one up and they'll be good as long as you have a good offensive line. True, they'll be better with an offensive line, but there is a difference. There is a tier of running backs, and speed and all those things go into account here. Kerryon Johnson's not the fastest running back. We know that. This is a play that could potentially have, big play potential. We've talked about it. Carolina gives up chunk plays, and with this play, with everybody stacking that defensive line, if you get to the second level, you're going to have room. There's a little bit of a gap here. If you get to the second level, you're one-on-one with the safety. But the problem is he gets caught from behind by Jeremy Chin. This is something that, just lacking a little bit of speed in that burst and that cut ability really kind of ends that play. Now, who knows if that would have been broken or not? I don't know. But either way, you can just see kind of the difference in speed. Imagine if that was Jamal Agnew in the backfield. Even if you don't give it to the Jamal Agnew, just imagine if that was Jamal. We talked about it yesterday. That's why I'm bringing it up. Just imagine if that was Agnew, because that would be just something you have to worry about. And if he hits that hole, I'm telling you, Agnew's gone. I would love to see the Lions just try to mix it in a few times. Okay, now that I've kind of talked myself into it, I kind of like to see them try that a little bit here. Here you're going to see, now they bring Agnew in the backfield. Look, we talked about it, so they at least fake it to him. Here's the threat of it. Boom, there's the threat. You can give him the ball. Not here, but there's the threat of it. This is interesting. They try to set up a screen. Now, this is the 3rd down. And you can see the play potential here. But this is just Brian Burns, making a good play. You get Jonah out here to block, and you have a receiver to bring off the corner. This is a lot of room. This is a lot of room if you can catch this. Unfortunately, it's tipped. Now, I know as offensive linemen, they're kind of taught to, hey, go hit him. But he backs out, and he just knocks it up in the air. He diagnosed the play. That's just a good play. That's just a good play by Brian Burns, so I'll give him credit there. This is something that we saw with Adrian Peterson. We're going to see it again. They bring a 4-man rush. You see a little bit of push. Stafford looks here. He fakes it. Then he holds on to it, and he takes it over to Hockenson. It's a good throw. That's got to be a first down. Boom, he's got his hands first down. No, he dropped it. That's another drop. We saw multiple drops in this game, and they really hurt us. Like that one in particular, because that keeps the drive alive. That basically puts you in field goal range, and your drive's still going. You could score on the drive. Instead, you're punting back because of a drop pass. Now, what is the problem with this? Going back to play calling, is that, your first couple of plays, run plays, things like that, when you run back to back, they're putting a lot of pressure on that 3rd down play where it has to work. So that is a play calling issue. But just in terms of the play alone, that's a pass you got to catch. This is something I'm tired of seeing. I'm done seeing this. Adrian Peterson stretch plays, no more, please. Stop doing this. This is not the move. Especially versus the Panthers. This is a fast defense, and we ran stretch plays with Peterson. I don't know if they haven't learned from, the 1 yard line stretch where they lost 4 yards. I don't know why they keep doing this, but he doesn't have the speed. He doesn't even want to try to go outside. He tries to cut back in, nothing there. You can't be running stretch plays to Peterson. I mean, it just ain't the move. This one I like better. They pull a guard. It's more in the inside. He does get outside the tackle here, but they pull the guard, and Kerryon picks up 8 yards. Kerryon's got at least more explosiveness, some more explosiveness than Peterson. Peterson's fine in certain scenarios, but you can't put him in the stretch run position. That's terrible. He's not going to have success there. He's not going to have success there. Again, this is a 3rd down because of the first 2 plays didn't work. First 2 run plays, I'm assuming. I could just assume they're run plays. They didn't work, so now you're in a 3rd down situation. They bring the rush off the edge, and he just misses him. So that's incomplete, and it's a turnover, and the Lions punt once again. Like we saw earlier, when he has the pocket, they bring a 4-man rush. They did it a lot this game, and it was fine early. They had a couple occasions where they held up. This is an example. They held up, and because they held up, it allowed the Lions to have 4 options on the field. So it opened up things like this in the zone, just like Marvin's. Now it's to Hockenson, and it's a big gain up near midfield. That's great. But the play calling is what really killed us, because then we go back to run, and then all of a sudden, we'd be in a 3rd down situation. This is one, though, where the Lions are moving the ball. They go to this, and this is another miscue. You do it to us. This is a heck of a throw, by the way. Look at that. Look at him pick up the block, and with the guy in his face, just chucks it. But it comes back because of a flag, because you lined up in the wrong spot. That's another miscue. Like, these are little things that pile up. I know they seem like, it's just one flag, you can bounce back. But if you keep doing it every drive, they're going to add up on top of each other. And, ultimately in football, you don't get that many possessions, right? If you're only getting, if you're making these little mistakes, I mean, one flag can derail the whole drive. And we kept seeing this stuff over and over with drops, with missed blocks, with, flags. Here's one. This is where Jonah Jackson starts to struggle. Jonah really struggled. This was by far Jonah's worst game. And I have confidence he'll bounce back. He is a rookie, so I understand it. Jonah really struggled, though, in the interior. I mean, he just got blown up. So this one, you gotta get some yards, right? And you can see what Stafford's waiting for because of these route concepts. Stafford's got to wait. I mean, he has no option across his face. You can see what he's waiting for. He's waiting for Marvin Jones to come across. By the time Marvin Jones comes across, he's got a defender right in his face. Watch, right here. Boom, he's looking to throw it. The defender's right in his face. So as he's getting hit, he throws it up to Agnew here. Almost actually has a chance to catch it. You could call it a drop if you want to. It's honestly, a chance. They put him in the hands, but he was unable to bring it down. This offensive line was constantly getting beat one-on-one. It put Matthew Stafford in a terrible spot. He's not super mobile anyways, and you could tell that he was flustered. I mean, he was flustered there. Here's another one where the offensive line is just getting blown up. Again, Jonah Jackson, they go inside on Jonah Jackson, and quickly they get right past him. They bring the stun on the outside. Kerryon, you see how well Kerryon picks up, but then on the right side, you got Terrell Crosby getting beat, so you got two of your offensive line getting beat, and the play gets shut down. And this really got worse in the second half because we were already down, so it was in that position where now we kind of had to pass. We came out of the half and threw 10 straight times. So it was in that situation where, okay, if you can't even hold up with a four-man rush, now you're in a lot of trouble. Here we go with the zone run once again. This time to Kerryon, and it goes almost nowhere. I don't know why we keep doing this. I don't know what they're seeing with that, but we keep doing it. Here we go, quick pass. This one we start to get it going, right? Stafford gets out of his hands quick. So you give him that quick option to get it out of his hands. Then all of a sudden you hit him with this play action that they set up well. So you're moving the football. Okay, it looks like we're going to score some points finally. See, that's why I don't hate that play too much earlier because they did set this up. Again, I would have loved to have Agnew in the backfield just as a threat there. But the sacks is what hurt us again. And you can see it starts off with a drop. Now, again, this is what I'm saying. I know he takes a big hit here, but when they bring 5 rushers and Stafford's got to get off quickly because you're running these underneath things, you got to catch this ball. I know you're taking the hit, but you got to be able to catch that. He drops it. All of a sudden, you get no yards on that play. Then they start to get the pass rush. The pass rush starts to get going again. Look at Decker just completely beat off the edge and just boom. Remember, this is slowed down. This isn't normal speed. Beat off the edge, sacked, and then you missed a field goal. Another miss. You can't even come away with points because you missed a field goal. 51 yards, you missed it. Over and over, every single drive basically had this where the Lions would get to the 50 and punt because they would just have that one mistake. And it was offensive line late in the game. It was drops early in the game. It was flags. And you can see, again, unable to pick up the blocks. Stafford's rolling out. Stafford's under complete, Stafford looks completely flustered here. He's just kind of throwing it, just trying to get out of his hands. You can see how they're lining up here. And they would do this. They would show a lot and just bring 4. So they would bring a 4-man rush, but we were getting beat with the 4-man rush. And that was really making it difficult for our offense. There we dump it underneath. And Marvin, he gets a couple of yards. Here they bring Jeremy Chin. Again, another 4-man rush. Brian Burns right by Taylor Decker. Again, he's sacked. Right by him. That's one-on-one. That's one-on-one. And there's really not a lot of things you can do for that. The only thing you can do when you're getting beat like this is set max protect. But then you have less weapons. So if you go max protect and you have less weapons, then you're in trouble, which is exactly what the Lions do here. Because watch, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 guys blocking, which means you only have 3 receivers. And if they're only bringing, as you can see, 4 guys, it means they have 7 in coverage. So you're 3 against 7. It's going to be very difficult to get anything open there. So Stafford's got to hold the ball because now they're taking shots because now they're down big because of a sack that backed them up already. You're expecting the pass, and he's sacked again. So the mistakes early really hurt us. The offensive line got destroyed. And, man, the play calling was just atrocious. I mean, the back-to-back runs has to stop. The zone runs have to stop. If it's not going to be with Swift, it's got to stop. At least do it with Kerryon. Stop doing it with Peterson. I hate watching it. It doesn't work. He's just too slow for that. Again, off the offensive line, just beat. This time it's Terrell Crosby. You can see when he gets time in the pocket, it wasn't too bad. But you can see just swim move went right by him. Now Stafford's in trouble. He's got to roll out, and he gets sacked again. That's kind of my takeaways from this game is that there's things that are, that made this game look really get out of hand and it didn't allow us to score is just so many mistakes early. I mean, just so many mistakes, so many drops, flags, and we can't have all these errors, 1, on the road, and 2, because of the offense that we play. We're not a high-powered offense. Because of all the mistakes that we made and because of the coach's inability to say, hey, look, let's pass more than we run, because they want to be such a run-heavy, run-first team, and we're not running well, it's putting us in these positions where it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, where you have to make it happen. Because if you don't pick up the first, if you get one chance to do it, the defense is already expecting the pass, and you got to find a way to make it happen, because if you don't, now you're in trouble, because we don't run the ball well, but yet we start every drive like that. This is why the play calling goes hand in hand with on the field, because you can't execute if the play calling's bad. We got to start off games by passing. Our first down's got to be a pass. It's got to be those type of things where, you get multiple opportunities to pick up the first with a pass. When you're leaving it down to one play on third down, you're in a tough spot. The defense expect the pass. They can bring the rush. They don't have to bring the rush, and our offensive line really struggled. So a lot of miscues. It'd be great to get Swift back, but seriously, I mean, it goes with both. Miscues, and then the play calling started it, and because of the miscues, we weren't able to take advantage, and that's why we didn't score a single point. So we'll take a look at the Texans a little bit later. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.